On the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final round of the JPB Radical SR8 Championship here from the Nürburgring Nordschleife. It is a slightly unusual format today compared to the rest of the season, where we've had one 10-minute race to begin with, and a top 10 reverse, and a second race of 45 minutes. Well, we're doing away with that here today. We're instead going for a single 1-hour race. Qualifying is underway as we speak here for the race, and instead of that slightly broken up race format with two in an afternoon. Instead, we're going for just the one here tonight. This is the championship situation. James Barry versus John McCutcheon is the title fight, with Ewan, I think, a bit too far back for the amount of drivers who are here today. This means that these standings means that James Barry, with a top 5, should secure the championship, and with a top 4 would definitely secure the championship if he is able to finish there. Jamie Bird and Mike Booson will be pretty close for 4th place as well, and there'll be plenty more to look at down the order. As taking you through the day, it will be myself, Ewan, and James Parfitt with you as well. It's good to be back again at James' last round of the season, and a championship fight on as well between James Barry and John McCutcheon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. We have had some dramatics over the week regarding scores, so we're going to go with what we got here at the moment as well. But it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be cool. 60 minutes plus pit stops. They are going to have to make a pit stop as well. Let's not forget. And I think it's going to make very interesting racing indeed. They had 3 laps in qualifying, so most of them have done their 3 laps. So we've got a couple of minutes to wait. So East Coast Wolf, LFG. Looking for group? I don't know. Jack Johnsters put looking for group underneath with a question mark. I'm not quite sure what group Jack's looking for. So, Jack, if you let me know what group you're looking for, and we'll go from there. I don't know.
No.
What? That's what it says.
Don't try and say what he was accurate. Whatever. Don't try and say that acronym out loud. Otherwise, you'll get yourself in trouble. Anyway,
What?
What's written below there anyway.
You're going to have to message me because I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, straight up, I am proper old. So even when my kids come in and start talking ghetto at me, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking.
Okay. Okay.
Just message me. Message me. Tell me what am I missing? No, you've really freaked me out now. What am I missing?
No, it's not the most obvious one in the world. You know, you can get away with it, but just don't say it out loud on the broadcast. Otherwise, well, you can't clearly, but you know, but when you find out, don't, because otherwise it'll be a bad time for everybody. Qualifying just about to come to a close, and as you say, the 3 laps have been completed by pretty much everybody now. It's no surprise that McCutcheon and Barry are the top 2, I suppose, just separated by 3 tenths of a second. I think there's going to be a good race between the 2 of them, but John McCutcheon has taken the pole position, and he's taken the point with it as well, so the gap will go down to 16 points now.
Yeah, it will do. It'll drop down to 16 here as well. I'm so confused. This has started off in such a bad way for me at this moment in time because I'm lost as a trooper, Mr. O'Leary, about what's going on here. I've got now Miggy in YouTube chat talking about World War II. I don't even know what is going on. What have we turned into all of a sudden here as well? Hold on. Oh. Oh, okay. You haven't broken me, Jack. I'm just old, mate. That's the thing. I'm just old, dude. So all these acronyms are things I don't quite understand, mate. That's the problem. I'm still trying to play catch up with the kids, mate. I've got two that are 12 and 13, and they talk to me like it, and I still don't understand what they're talking about either, Jack. So, yeah, don't worry, mate. It's just because I'm over. It's a good thing Ewan's 20 odd years younger than me, but a grid's on the screen, mate.
Yes, John Goodson takes pole position ahead of James Barry with Eric Harmon and Paul Crabb on row 2. Luke Maxwell and Ewan Bramer will share row 3 ahead of Jamie Bird and Menno de Graaf. It's Judge Gonzaga and David Royston, the final drivers in the top 10. Robert Williams and Stefan Mellis are sharing row 6. And down towards the back, we've got a few more as we get this race underway. The light's getting out very quickly indeed. And McCutcheon getting off to a very good start. James Barry versus Eric Harmon down the hill here, in towards the Hudson back, and Harmon's going to get there. He's going to get down the inside and he's going to go through. Barry stuck in third place, just trapped behind him on the way towards the Hudson back, and he'll be hoping very much, I think, that Harmon can stay with John McCutcheon in these opening few moments of this race.
Yeah, this is really important here as well. John got an absolute flyer. They went green really quickly, so they all must have been really eager to get on the line. But we've got 60 minutes here. They should get about maybe just touching 10 laps, I think, because they've been 6 minutes 20 times that, give or take, you know what I mean, do maths. So we'll have to see here as well. But John is, as we know, Mr. O'Leary, he's a bit of an expert at this circuit. I'm not saying Harmon and Barry out, I'm sure they are, but it's going to be very, very interesting for them to get past indeed. Williams is here with Mike Bousson and Stefan Mellis. They're going side by side currently as well. It's going to see how they get on. There is Mr. Williams on the outside. Bousson hugging that grass, going down on the way down into Arenberg now. Is he going to be able to get it done, Mike? Oh, just.
Goodness me, he had a wiggle there. Just ahead of Williams though, and Carl Jacquelette moves up to 13th place ahead of Graham Matthew and David Rolliston as well. There are the gaps on the left-hand side. It's all very close for the lead at the moment. The top 7 all breaking away from the rest of the field. Jamie Bird deciding not to go down the inside of Bramer on the way toward Adnan Frost, and that's probably a good idea, all things considered. Harmon hangs on from Barry, but he loses the gap to John McCutcheon, who already looks like he's got a second over the rest of the field.
Yeah, he's opened up a second there. Good evening, Paul LeMay as well. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be very, very interesting. They've got an hour here. Harmon's got to try and get on with it a little bit, or Barry's got to make a move. Now, we say about the dot and the hoe, we think that's going to be the most vital place for them to make the overtake here, because obviously they are going to be going at full speed. Saying full speed, you might touch 160 plus, but it's still fast enough for these cars. Crab's just trying to hang on to the back of Barry. That draft is vitally important. The problem is Stefan Mellis and Mike Bousson have lost that draft. They're 3.6 back already from Mr. Gonzaga. So at the moment, they're going to have a bit of a fight on their hands to try and catch up to George, because they need to get onto the back of Gonzaga to even. Otherwise, they're just going to go backwards. Down at dot and ho, they will lose time after time after time after time.
Gonzaga even has lost a bit of time now, and Menno de Graaf is the one who's getting himself onto the back of the train for second place that is developing here, because John McCutcheon is flying away. Look at this for Luke Maxwell, getting very close indeed to Paul Crabb on the way towards Bergberg. He's not going to go down the inside there though. It's about getting the run out of here, and he's got a good one as well. Don't want to get too far to the left hand side there. These cars will not like the curb on the outside through Bergberg. You've got to stay within the bounce of the circuit. Here goes Maxwell round the outside into Kesselsen. It's a long way round, and he'll do well to get round there. Oh, he is poking his nose there though. Alongside he gets, and he's going to fly through here on Crabb, who can do nothing to keep him behind. Luke Maxwell moves up into 4th position.
Yeah, vitally important for Luke. You see the top in north of 145 there. Barry and Harmon still in as they are. Harmon is really keeping Barry behind. But that's easily done at Nords as well, because you can position your car in one place and they can't get through. That's the thing. So it's really, really easy at Nords to block somebody off. And that is just, you can put the car in the middle of the circuit. So for Barry, he's really got to to stay with him, or he's got to wait for Harmon to make a mistake. You know, we know he needs 4th, maybe 5th place to go down to at the moment as well. So there's still lots on play for James Barry. John McCutcheon 4.38 after his pit stop, after his pole position. Barry on 4.54.
Yep. McCutcheon has the opportunity to win the championship even if Barry finishes 5th, but he would have to take pole position, which he already has, and the fastest lap as well as the win. So Barry, to be absolutely sure, would need to be inside the top 4. And having Luke Maxwell right behind you, battling in that 3rd and 4th position, that's going to be very unnerving indeed for James Barry, who's still holding on to 3rd. But it's the start of the race where he lost it, really. Harmon got a better launch. He was on the inside already, of course, going down towards turn number 1, and then got overtaken. This is the start again, looking from Crab's perspective. He could see what was going on up ahead of him here. It's not a very long run towards turn number 1, and if you get a bad one, then he can be punished for it. This will be the start in a few moments' time. The replay, of course, just getting forward to the start, and here we go. Harmon getting a much better launch. You can see him get alongside immediately. Barry braking a little bit early as well, clearly not wanting to have contact on the opening lap, and then the next 3 corners or so are right-handers for Harmon to take the place, and he did get up into 2nd place.
Yeah, great job from him there as well. Barry's now up behind Harmon. They've got a few more corners to go, coming into Klein's there as well, the left-hander. And they're going to disappear behind the trees, come out the other side. Barry now, the problem is, it's not for Barry the fact that he's got Harmon, it's the fact that this man is closing up on him as well. Mr. Luke Maxwell, the gap at the moment is only half a second. So John's out in front, he's 2.2, he's gone down the road, but watch all the gaps start closing, even the Maxwell to Barry gap. You can see they're north of 155, are they going to get 156 at the moment? They are, but you can see at the moment that they're just all gaining on each other. It's like a draft train kicking in at the moment.
Barry's closest to making a move though here. He's a lot closer to Harmon than Maxwell is to Barry, and so he's timing this quite well. Just under the Bilstein Bridge now is where you want to pull out just as you go over the crest of the crest of the hill here. You can use the punch down the other side of the hill here, and look at how far he is ahead now. Barry through, and Maxwell's going to try and come through as well here. He's very, very close indeed behind these guys, and he can't quite get alongside Harmon in time for the Tiergarten, so he'll have to stay in 4th place. But Barry moves back up to 2nd, as further behind, this is Jacqueline and Rolliston going side by side into the Tiergarten, just ahead of Matthew and Mellis doing the same. Ooh. Nicely done. In these high downforce cars, you can do it here into the Tiergarten. Very respectful indeed. Although there's a bit of contact right at the very end, and braking a little bit early. Rolliston there, as Jacqueline goes off, spinning exactly the same way as Robert Williams just has done.
Yeah, Williams went round first as well. That's probably coming through the final corner. He's gone on and put the power down a little bit too early for Mr. Williams, and unfortunately he's gone round. And then of course Carl Jacklett comes side by side, does exactly the same thing, and it's like pirouette spinning there. And yeah, unfortunately for both of them.
Whoa. Williams there for sure hit the wall. He broke too late for Hatzenbach. And he's in the wall.
He's still in the wall.
There's the damage. You just see him going too quickly, and bang! It doesn't take a lot to damage the car around this circuit, and well, there's an example of it.
Yep, it's done there at the moment as well. And unfortunately for Rob Williams, that's going to be probably near or north of 8-minute tow back to the pit lane. Even though you are right near the pit lane, it's still, got to tow you around the circuit. But they're all starting to group back up again now, from James Barry all the way to Jamie Bird. They're all starting to close back together. So this could turn into a 6-way fight if they just stay with each other on the certain areas where they're going to have to draft. And I think that's the thing. They've got to make sure that they can keep that draft, and then they're going to be all bunched together once more. You can see in the background, even Menno de Graaf is kind of touching on it. If he can stay with them, it could be very, very interesting indeed. Good evening, King. How are you?
Yeah, this is a big group from 2nd to 7th. 6 of them involved, and it will be making Barry a little bit nervous, I suspect, at this stage, knowing that losing these places could lose you a title. Too early really to report on the fastest lap point, by the way. The fastest lap, obviously, in the first lap is always going to go to the race leader, no matter how quick everybody else has been going. So we'll get a better view of that at the end of lap 2 here. We're around half the way round at the moment. Around, I think, 6.5 minutes or so lap times here, which means we should get 9 laps in here, if I'm not mistaken. And indeed a pit stop as well to come. But I don't know when the window will be opening for them to come into pit lane. And I imagine at the latest, the window will be opening at lap 4, maybe if not earlier than that, if they want to come in and make their pit stop.
I think that's the thing. They're on the fixed setups. Fixed setups generally is only 4 laps. And it's very, very close on that as well. You know, you do get a warning as soon as you start from your crew chief that literally you're going to need to refuel. And you're like, no, I could just get onto 4, but you can't make 5. So it's got to be the end of 4 that they've got to make that stop. Any later, you can guarantee somebody's going to run out. Unless they have fuel saved their absolute head off. But that is still an impossible task.
It is round the circuit as long as this, making a lap's fuel save. Certainly not at this speed that we're doing at the moment in these leading cars. Through the muck curve they go. Barry getting closed in on because of the slipstream, of course, but he's not even under pressure from Harmon. And we've seen so far in this race as well that you can keep drivers behind as long as you are a certain distance ahead. I mean, Maxwell was about half a second behind Barry going on to the touching her last time round. He couldn't really get anywhere near him or Harmon, but he was just about behind, so I reckon you need to be just within that half a second and then you've got a chance. But Barry has got this section of corners coming up now to try and pull away, as Ewan Bremer, by the way, has got off the road and he's back to pit lane.
Oh no, poor old Ewan.
Oh goodness.
Big snap for Ewan Bremer, and that is damage there. Oh, he can't look at that. He can't make that back. Can't make it back. The only good thing is the fact that he's got, it's going to be an 8-minute tow, but he might not even be a lap down by the time they get round. Do you know what I mean? They've still got their fast repairs as well, so they can use a fast repair. So he might have an opportunity to get towed back, get his fast repair done, and still be on the lead lap. And then he's still got pit stops to contend with. Obviously, they're not an 8-minute stop, so he is going to have to go some. But I think at the end of the day, he's still in with an opportunity.
Yeah. 2 drivers already, unfortunately, pitting in and down the order as a result of opening lap crashes. Rob Williams in towards the Hatson back on lap number 2 has retired from the race, unfortunately, and Ewan Bremer we've just seen braking a little bit too late for at the corner before the carousel. Big stop after that long straight, of course.
John McHutchins has been off. Sorry to interrupt there, Ewan, but John has actually been off the circuit because that time has... Whoa!
Oh, wow. That's a rare error. Goodness me. Looks like he's somewhat got away with it as well. That's extraordinary. That is quite extraordinary.
He was lucky. Yes. Lucky bird there.
Wow.
Very lucky for our leader.
Just over a second ahead of James Barry then. And he will starting to get reeled in now. I wonder whether that has done any aero damage or whether that's just the slipstream taking a hold now. Maxwell gets right up close to Harmon here and then waits for the crest of the hill to go down to the right-hand side here. Down the other side of the hill they're going to go. He's not quite as quick in a straight line because he's not got the slipstream anymore. Barry's giving the slipstream still to Harmon because he's trying to stay in the wheel tracks of John McHutchison. It's 5 for the lead all of a sudden after that huge error from the Scotsman into the Schrabenschanz corner for the previous lap. 2 completed here at the Nordschleife, a long way to go, and James Barry is suddenly with his championship rival.
I am surprised here. I thought John might have gone in pit lane. I thought he might have gone in pit lane, got that car repaired and come out again as well. And he just hasn't at this moment in time. I've got a funny feeling he could be in real danger for this lap. This could be a bit of a fight lap for John. He's going to have to defend like crazy. Crab, Maxwell, Harmon, Barry still there as well. I think that was a mistake. I've got to be honest. I think he really needed to go into pit lane.
Depends whether he can make it home for another 7 laps. I understand what you were talking about with the fixed setup earlier on, but in terms of how much fuel you can put in at the stop, does that give you 7 laps to go all the way home? I'm not sure.
Well, there's no limitations. They've only got their starting limitation. So they've only got what they started on here for their limitations. They haven't got, I don't think they've got it, because we've seen a couple run out of fuel.
Here we go. Barry versus McCutcheon. We'll park that for a moment because of the battle for the lead. In towards Arenberg. James Barry goes through. It was round the outside through Schredenkreuz there, and James Barry has seized the championship lead, of course, and the race lead at the same time as well. McCutcheon needing a big day today to take that championship lead and indeed the win away at the final round. Barry overtakes him and just prevents that from happening just for the moment. Up to Adnan Force they go. Barry leads ahead of John McCutcheon, then it's Eric Harmon, Luke Maxwell and Paul Crabb, the top 5.
Yeah, and I can tell you now that when they go in, they would have 100% fuel on the other side. So whatever they would have put in will be the maximum that they're allowed to be able to get if they can get to the end of the race. I think he needs to come in. He hasn't got the speed of everybody else, and by the end of this lap, if he's not careful, he could be behind Harmon, behind Maxwell, even possibly behind Crabb. And that's the thing, I think, for John. I would have taken that opportunity, being right near pit lane, to dive into that pits.
Well, we'll see whether he decides to this time round, now that he has lost the lead officially here. I say, I believe it will be a kick. Well,
hold on.
Depend a little bit on. Sorry, go on.
You cut out on us.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that would. That doesn't surprise me. I think I'm back now. It's going to be very close. I think whether it's 9 or 10. As Eric Harmon is losing a bit of time now, and Luke Maxwell, I think, sees the urgency with which he needs to get through now. Looking up the inside, doesn't go for it this time round. Further down, by the way, Carl Jacquelette's made his first pit stop of the day, and Ewan Bremer has finished his repairs. He's back out on the circuit now as well.
Yeah, Bremer's all the way down in 14th. You can see him in the bottom corner of the track map. He's about half a lap behind, but he hasn't been lapped. That's what we said. If he got in, got his toe done and got out quick enough, he might not have got lapped, and he hasn't been lapped. They have still got a pit here. They're only going to be able to go 4 laps at most before they need to pit, and it's going to be the end of lap 4, I think, that most of these are going to come in. But this 5-car fight, it could get really, really spicy if these front 2 continue to fight. These 3, 4 and 5 are not going to be far behind.
Oh, Harmon late on the brakes, but Maxwell couldn't take advantage.
Oh,
and Crabb looked at the inside, couldn't either. But McCutcheon, look at that. He's got a poor run into the carousel, but Harmon doesn't dive down the inside of him. Barry now with a chance to pull a second or more away.
Yep, he made a mistake. John McCutcheon literally made a mistake just before the carousel, and he ended up sliding that SR8 out of it. And unfortunately, you're going forward. It ain't going to make a difference when you've got full power on. There was smoke coming out the back and everything. And now they've got to utilize this and start closing in on him as best as they can here. They've got to make sure they can use John here and get hold of him, because John's going to want to try and go forward to Barry. Harmon's still there. I don't know if Harmon's a little bit of a roadblock. I'm not really sure at the moment. I can't quite muster his pace on whether or not he is a little bit of a roadblock in front of Lou Maxwell. And if Maxwell got through, I think he would get John and possibly James.
I certainly don't think he's quite as quick as McCutcheon or Barry, or even Luke Maxwell at this stage for Eric Harmon. He did qualify third, of course, so clearly not slow, and qualified ahead of Maxwell, it should be noted. However, he is second place by some distance at the moment, by just over half a second to John McCutcheon and James Barry, who lead this race. Luke Maxwell is the closest to making a move here as we get to the site of where McCutcheon's race began to unravel a little bit. He had 2 seconds worth of a lead, made a mistake into this corner, and then it all changed. But he's done a much better Schrabenschatz this time round, and he's continuing to close in on James Barry. 0.8 of a second. He's not quite lost the slipstream yet.
No, not yet. He's got to get it, Barry's got to get it out to about 1.5 seconds. Through Galgan Coffee goes. Barry's still out 0.8. Now we're going to see this. This is where we're going to see a lot of what's going to happen. Is Luke Maxwell going to stay in behind Eric Harmon for as long as possible? He needs to, because as soon as he goes out, There's nobody there to help him. He's literally hitting a wall of air, and he hasn't quite got it currently at the moment, although he's trying as much as he can. Running side by side here, Maxwell and Harmon. Maxwell really, really wants to get this done because I feel he has got quite the pace over Harmon. Down the hill the other side, still side by side. Coming into Tiergarten, and he hasn't got it. He's just not got enough there.
Yeah, I think he just went a bit early there, to be honest. As we complete lap 3, is anyone coming in? No, they all carry on. And we complete nearly 20 minutes of this race. It's going to be very close whether we get 9 or 10 laps here anyway, but we will see how many we get. Maxwell still stuck in that 4th place, but the advantage, I suppose, well, not the advantage, but the good thing for Maxwell, something he'll be pleased about, is the fact that Eric Harmon is staying with the leaders. So even while he's not able to make this move, Maxwell is staying in touch.
Yeah, he is. He's keeping there, which is good. Eric Harmon, he hasn't lost too much time. John's always there as well, so maybe John's he's got more pace in there than what we think at this moment in time. You know, that was a hard hit, and if Buson's in the pit lane, that was a hard hit, and if his front wheels weren't straight at that moment of impact, he would have had damaged steering easily. So he must have kept them wheels straight to be able to make sure that this car carries on, and he's still having to go on the run down into Arenberg. Is he going to look at making the move at the moment? You don't reckon?
I heard him lift off. I heard him just breathe off the throttle on the downhill there, because otherwise he would have been alongside, much in the same way that Barry was this time last lap. So he decides to just lift off for a moment and stay behind for now. Eric Harmon hangs on as well to 3rd place. Of course, he's getting the double slipstream from 1st and 2nd anyway, which is making Maxwell's task even more difficult now. The front 4 covered by about a second and a half as they make their way up over the hill here. They have got rid of Paul Crabb. It is now just 4 for the lead rather than 5.
Yeah, with 9 tenths. 9 tenths between the 4. It's not even a second. Look at him on the left-hand side there. It's literally 9 tenths, 8 tenths between the 4 of these. This could be absolutely an amazing race and a wicked end to the season, especially if they all come in together, which is what we think's got to happen, because I don't think they've got the fuel to get any more than that. And I think that if they all start coming in together, it's going to make it very, very interesting indeed.
We'll see whether they do go for that, or whether it will be a case of hitting separately at the end of this lap. At the end of 4 laps here, of course, still got 5 or 6 to go at the end of this one here at the Nürburgring. The final round of the JPB Radical SR8 Championship, and up over the curb goes Maxwell. That was an error in towards Verstappen, and so he's got some time to gain now. He's got some car lengths to gain back again. As we look back from Harmon, he's actually getting back close to Paul Crabb, actually, who's coming back again in 5th place.
This might bring Crabb back into it. That draft of Maxwell might bring Crabb back with him, and Crabb they could turn this back into a 5-way fight again here for Eric Harmon. He's still staying, however, it's dropping out here for Eric Harmon. He needs to get on his bike a little bit more to try and get near them. He's got to try and stay here, and currently he is 8.5 tenths. We could end up with a leading 2 if these guys behind start still making mistakes. But Hutchinson almost there as well, but I think he's using Barry as a draft. I don't believe John's got the pace to clear James and run away. I think that's why he's utilising Mr. Barry in front of him.
I'm not sure what his strategy is at the moment, to be honest. I would have thought he'd try a move there because he was so close, but he doesn't. And James Barry continues to lead ahead of John McCutcheon. Then it's Eric Harmon, Luke Maxwell and Paul Crabb covering 2 seconds for the top 5 at the moment, and he is back again, is Crabb. This is the only battle on the circuit as well, by the way, and where else would you want to be than looking at this leading battle as things stand? Maxwell just makes a mistake in the carousel again there as we go back to David Ralston, who's made his own error through Kesselson. This is a big crash.
Yeah, he started early, bang, and then he runs to the other side, and then unfortunately round he goes for David Rolliston. So yeah, but now we've got this 5 cars back again. Crabb's back on the scene, 2.15 across all 5 of them, and poor old David Rolliston looks like he could be back here as well.
It's
Jack, you are right. You are right, Jack. I'm not going to lie. He's not overtaken because leading on Dottinger is a bad spot to be in with more than 2 behind. You are right, but we've also got to remember that he did hit the wall. So we expect him to have some damage because he had a 3.5 second lead out front. And then after he hit the wall, and it kind of plummeted, didn't it? Like an elevator with bad brakes there. It just sort of went right down. And then he got overtaken and then it was done. But if he can stay with him to fuel stops, which I think is at the end of this lap, he's in with a chance of coming out the other side.
Yeah, we'll see. Because, yeah, it's been interesting for him not to make the overtake so far. And now he's got the best chance, of course, on the back straight. He's nowhere near anyway. So, multiple theories about this one at the moment. Fuel is still a factor around here, even though he's not going to be able to go 1 lap further than everybody else because of fuel saving. He might be able to cut some time off his pit stop, of course, and get ahead as a result of that. In towards Gamenkopf they go. Right-handed. Uphill, then back down again. Barry a little bit wide there. Not sure that was his best work through Gamenkopf, but his run's actually still okay as far as the pure physics and speed goes. He's waving around a little bit as well here. Got to be a bit careful of that. He doesn't do it too often. Bukutsin closes back in. They move back to the middle line again. Moves up to the third line. Moves back to the second on the left-hand side. Moves right the way back to the left next to the white line again. Sort of straddling a line, as you can see, the marks down the road. Moves again. Bukutsin closes again. Now then, will there be a move this time? No. Listen to the lifting off. He stays behind again. Eric Harmon closes up as well. Maxwell and Crab are beginning to get distant as they've made mistakes in these last couple of moments. Bukutsin feathering the throttle on the way down towards the Tiergarten. Are there pit stops to come? No. We're going to carry on at least one more here. 4 laps complete. Oh, it's a big slide. Very big slide from John Bukutsin, who makes an error. And it's Eric Harmon who takes the fastest lap of the race, moves up to 3rd place.
Yep, 6 minutes 20.41 for Harmon. Maybe they can get 5 laps out. Maybe they can. I'm sure they haven't all just made a massive boo-boo and they're going to run out here. Paul LeMay, John Fuel saving, not sure. Not sure. He is lifting at certain points, but I don't think he's got enough to get 1 lap. Paul, I don't think he'll be able to go again. As I said, they're on the fixed setup. They run for normally 4 to, well, clearly 5 laps here, but I don't think he's saved enough to go 1 more. Barry, however, trying to open up this gap. The problem is at certain points he needs to open the gap. He can't because of the draft pulls John in, as it is doing right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Gonzaga into the pit lane. Meanwhile, here goes Luke Maxwell. He's getting closer again after a good first sector of the lap here through the Hatton back. And Matthew also into pit lane as Gonzaga exits in 9th place.
I just want to look where this man is.
File.
Sorry to just come back here, but Mike was in a very good shot of getting Gonzaga there. It's going to get Matthews. I think Gonzaga's already out. He is. So Mike pitting early. He's gained 5 places, but he's still in 10th at this moment in time. So Mike did not get Gonzaga. So what he really needs, he's got a 13-second gap to Mellis, 29 to Mena de Graaf. It's possible both Gonzaga and him may clear Mellis and de Graaf, but I don't think they've got enough of a gap to get to Jamie Bird. I think Bird is kind of set in 6th, driving around all on his Todd. But now we're back to 5 cars up front.
Yeah. 1.7 seconds covers the top 5. It's fluctuating, the size of the group is, because Crab keeps yo-yoing off the back and back on again. Maxwell wasn't even on the back of them down the back straight last time round either, so it is yo-yoing a little bit here as we come through lap 5. This will be the halfway stage of the race, as long as the pit stops aren't too long. It should be a 10-lap race here today, as James Barry continues to lead. John McCutcheon still behind him, and considering how long we saw James Barry get, was it Barry or was it someone else anyway, who went really long last week at Knockhill, showing that he can go, nearly 3/4 of the race here without stopping for fuel. I just wonder how far these 5 are going to elect to go now, because don't forget, if you do pit and the others behind you don't, you might well find yourself behind the likes of Jamie Bird and Mena de Graaf and having to overtake them on the circuit itself.
Yeah, I think James came in really early, didn't he? And then he went really long to the end of the race. So I think it was Possibly. I don't think who went long, unfortunately, on that one. My brain is fried. I've had a manic weekend. So, yeah, it's been absolutely, well, just full on here as well. But Crab, Maxwell and Harmon are all very nearly nose to touch here. But John McHutchinson, he has got no respite from Eric Harmon. There he is, tucked in right behind him.
And Maxwell even closer behind as well. He's less than 6 steps away from less than 7 steps away from the overall lead at the moment. But none of them making moves into the Shellstrekker. It's single file as it has been for some time now in this group. Maxwell seemingly the only one who's wanting to make a move at the moment in this leading group, but he's not able to because as soon as he pulls out the slipstream, Harmon continues to receive it. And meanwhile, Barry makes an error into the carousel. He just loses the banking. He loses the inside line and John McHutchison goes through to the lead.
Yeah, he popped out. He popped out of the carousel, didn't he? Bang. Just so close to keeping it in for James Barry, but he couldn't quite do it. He popped out of the carousel. That's put McHutchison in front. Now, this is where we're going to find out whether the Scotsman, the William Wallace of the Radicals, has got the pace to open this back up again. I don't think he has, but that might just be me being a bit of a skeptic.
We'll see.
I don't know if skeptic's the right word. Maybe pessimist.
Oh, it depends on your viewpoint, I suppose.
I'm not really sure, to be honest, Mr. O'Leary. No. You know what I mean? It's been on, one of them. I don't know.
Just over half an hour gone here at the Nordschleife. And John McHutchison is the leader again, as he was for the first lap and 90% of the second lap. And then he was overtaken by Barry up until this point on lap 5, the carousel, where he just made that error and allowed McHutchison through into the lead for the second time. The two of them pull away from the rest of the field, but they're just 2 tenths apart. You get the feeling here that Barry wants his lead back, and he's going to try and get it back on the Jottinger.
Yeah, he's got to. I'm interested to see how much of a draft this man gets, to be blatantly honest. He wants to clear Harmon. He's been trying. He's just not quite had the pace, but you can see how close Barry is at the moment. He doesn't want to be too close to John going onto it. He's got to allow himself to run. Oh, not the best exit. Not the best exit for Mr. Barry there. But they've got to be pitting. They have to be. I can't see how they're going to have enough fuel to keep going.
Here we go. Barry is going to be right in the slipstream here, making his way through. The advice from John McHutchison on the rear wing, not taken up. He goes alongside, and this gives Maxwell a chance as well. He's been waiting for this chance for a long time as Luke Maxwell, and he's going to get the slipstream from Barry now too. In fact, he's getting the John McHutchison slipstream. It's 2 by 2 in the top 4. 2 side-by-side battles in towards the dig on. And McHutchison and Maxwell prevail. Barry backs off. Harmon was forced to back off. And in they come. 5 laps complete. And the pit stops begin. They all crash into the wall. Oh, my goodness me. John McHutchison fires it in. Barry also does as well. And I believe they all scraped along the wall there.
Yep, every single one coming in pit lane. Every single one coming in pit lane looks like they've hit the wall. Once again, they're on their way in. Let me see if I can go back a little bit further than that, because that would be ideal. Yep. Oh, I think he does as well. I think he does as well. Yeah.
So who's got out first? It'd be the next question. This is Barry following him in, and bang.
Yeah. As they were.
Who's got out first? McHutchison. He's gained 1.5 seconds over Barry. Maxwell is back with Barry now. Harmon is 4th, ahead of Crab. Then it's Jamie Burton, Menotograph still in the pit lane, of course. But the pit stops have changed the race. McHutchison gets out to a 1.6 second lead.
Yeah. And I think this is the thing here. I don't know the name of the older gentleman, but his microphone has been a bit down for a bit. Disparity, really? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I'll turn myself up a little bit for you because I was peaking a little bit earlier on. So I did drop it back a little bit. But Luke Maxwell there with James Barry. This is going to be now what Maxwell's going to be able to do to Barry.
Let's see. Well, Barry, don't forget, if McCutcheon, as of right now, he doesn't have the fastest lap, so Barry only needs a top 5, and at the moment, that is nearly 20 seconds in the clear for James Barry, so he's okay as far as that is concerned. But suddenly, if he requires a top 4 and Harmon and Crab get onto the back of him, start applying the pressure, things could get a little bit difficult. But things are still looking good for him in the second half of the race. We'll see, though, whether McCutcheon's going to drive away with this race or whether he's going to be reeled back in again, because Barry and Maxwell are closing so far. They'll be using each other's slipstream, of course, to try and get closer.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the maths at the moment. It's easy if I just write it down on a piece of paper, to be honest. I probably need an abacus at my age, but a piece of paper will do instead. So we've got John went in on 438. He's now on for 70. 8, 10, 508. Barry went in on 454. Now on for 60. 11. 514. So Barry still wins by 6 points at the moment.
That is
James. It is.
I've got that as well. Yeah.
James, it is. Miggy, don't worry. I won't be offended. Honestly.
I was about to laugh if he'd accidentally called me the older one.
That would have been funny. You could just say the croaky one. That would have done on this, because then we can separate. Ewan's got a young man's voice. I've got an old man's voice. I've been in public houses too many times, shall we say.
Also, people don't know how old we are just for our voices. So, they could have got it wrong, and that would have been funny.
That would have been really funny, because then you must have sounded old compared to me. You know what I mean? If you sound old now, mate, you're in trouble by the time you get to my age.
In trouble. On board with Luke Maxwell as he closes it on James Barry. How aggressive is he willing to be here, Maxwell?
I think he's at pace. I think he's at pace, Ewan. Yeah,
I do as well. All three of them certainly are quicker than the rest. You can see that with the time they put into Harmon and Crab. He's certainly been quicker than Harmon, has Luke Maxwell. And now that he's passed him, he's able to apply the pressure to Barry. But does he stay behind Barry, waiting for the two of them to catch McCutcheon? Or does he go for the overtake? He had a look there. I'm not sure whether he was seriously considering the move or whether he was just trying to put him off. But he's still third for now as they continue to close in. Just a second the gap now.
Yeah, I think... Barry's got to keep it in this time. He's got to keep it in. He did catch it in there as well. Miggy's trying to suck up in YouTube chat now. The man with a very nice commentator's voice, both of you. Miggy, you get an apple for that one as well. It was a nice little suck up on that one. But I think Maxwell... We'll get him down the dot in the hoe. I think however, if he keeps riding curbs like that, he's going to be in deep, deep trouble soon. But I think for Luke, he's looked quick all the way through, and this is the difference between Harmon and these three. Harmon's back by 4 seconds, 4.7 seconds at the moment, and Paul Crab is tucked in just a second back. So I think, although Harmon was doing really well, I think he was just surviving with the draft. Now he's not. I think he's now going to lose quite a bunch of time there as well.
Let's see whether these three leaders can get back into the slipstreaming train they were in the first half of this race. Of course, we will have just the one pit stop of the day, and everybody's made it now, so we are in the clear to the finish for McCutcheon, Barry and Maxwell. Looks like McCutcheon's going to have a big enough gap this time round to stay away from Barry and Maxwell behind, but whether by this time next lap he'll have enough of a gap to have broken the slipstream, I'm not entirely sure. Not as confident in that at all. McCutcheon, though, is going to be in the clear on the way down the back straight this time.
You reckon? A second. We'll see. 1.1. We'll see how quick it comes down. I think it's going to come down a lot quicker than we think here. And although we put it out at a second, 1.2, I think it may need to be sort of 1.5. Crab's gone off the side of the track. Now just watch Maxwell come at him here.
He's going to gain very quickly, actually, is Barry and Maxwell. So just the whiff of a slipstream on McCutcheon has helped Barry here. but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move unless he's really going to surprise me. Look at the double slipstream from Maxwell, though. This is the big one here. Over the crest of the hill. He's timing it quite well as well. He hasn't had to just let off for a moment. He can go straight down the other side of the hill here and get alongside. McCutson's always going to give him the slipstream there. He's not going to help Barry down in towards the Tiergarten. He's not quite getting enough, though. And he stays behind, but they're right with McCutson now. He was clear on the way down to the Tiergarten this time, but next time, as long as they stay close, he will be in trouble, or at the very least, he'll have to defend his lead.
Yep. It's going to be hotting up. 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes to go here. Hold on to your hats at home. If you got your drinks, get your popcorn, sit back, relax and enjoy yourself, because these next few laps is going to be absolutely fire. It's going to be spicier than a vindaloo in a curry house. Trust me, when these guys start making their attacks forward, the only thing that come out the other side, Ewan, is whether or not all three of them are going to survive.
Paul Crabb, second to that mistake that he's made, has also come in the pit lane in the last couple of moments. Jamie Bird now right behind him. Not sure what happened to Crabb a few moments ago in the final sector of the lap last time round.
Sorry, he went off.
Important corner of the circuit to be going off. Oh dear. That's basically what John McCutcheon did at a different corner. But Crabb instead this time goes straight on. I think he must have taken his faster pair in the pit lane. In that case, Chocolate, meanwhile, making a bit of an error, but saves it.
Yeah, he does, but he's free and nose to tail on the run down into Arenberg.
Very close. Barry looks up the inside, doesn't go for it. And that's probably the sensible choice at the moment. 20 minutes to go. Should still be 3 laps after this one, by the looks of things. And Maxwell is going to be just watching as the two ahead go into battle up the hill here at Adnar Frost. They will stay behind, and so wonder how long this will be single file for and how aggressive Barry is going to be. Are we waiting for the back straight of this lap? Are we waiting for a lap later on? Which corner are we waiting for here at the moment? Because it is going to be single file for a little while now.
Oh, Maxwell poking his nose out. Oh, Luke's getting a bit brave here. He's getting, I think it's almost bearing on the air of frustration on this one. Is he going to be able to get there? He's got a good run out. Don't think he's going to be able to do it up the hill. Not this time. He's going to have to just nestle in at this moment in time. This corner is really difficult for me. I never know whether or not I should be in 5th or whether or not I should be in 4th. They've taken it in 5th. I just feel 5th's too slow, but then that's why I do 6-minute 30 laps and they do 6-minute 20s.
It's a big difference around this circuit to be made with every single corner. Gear selection is a bit of a predicament. Third gear for these next two, just to get that power. You do need to be quite high in the rev range as well to get the power from this engine, but it's a good job this engine does rev quite highly. Into 6th briefly for Bergwerk, and then, as I mentioned earlier, trying to stay off the curb on the left-hand side, and they all do that rather well. 8/10 of a second. McCutcheon's had a good few corners here, but Matt Parry's now about to have a big slipstream up the hill.
Yeah, Maxwell's tucked in as well. He's in 5th, 145 into 6th. He pops it. He's going to utilise the run if he can. He needs to stay in behind Barry, but the problem is this circuit is not very big, and there's a pinch point coming up as well. This next left-hander, they will be pinched together. He's got to be a little bit careful. Here, there's the pinch. Now he's got to decide what's he going to do. Is he going to... what was the O? Oh.
Luke. McCutcheon didn't have a very good run at all through the muck curve. I don't know what was going on, because he didn't seem to slide or anything, but he just seemed to be taking a really weird line. He going very slowly, but look at him now. He's only quarter of a second ahead of Barry. Look at this. 2 tenths, less than, into the carousel. Can't afford to miss it. They're all down there. They're all in there safely. Back out again as well. Barry a bit cautious through there. I think slightly scarred by the previous laps. There is Harman now driving on his own. He's no longer in this fight. There is a fight for 5th place going on, by the way, that it's worth keeping an eye on between Paul Crabb and Jamie Bird as well.
Yeah, they're battling. They were literally nose to tail at one point. Oh, Crab got a bumpy... Well, I almost did a Harry Potter then. He only got a bumpy ride. Did Paul Crab going into the carousel, but comes out the other side unscarred. The three up front still fighting it out. Maxwell's closer to Barry. The Barry is closer to McHutchinson. McHutchinson needs this. He needs Maxwell to get him. I still don't think it's going to be enough because it's only a 2-point drop from there, so it will bring it down to 5-12, which will only put him 4 points ahead of McHutchinson. It's not enough here at the moment. It is not enough at this moment in time for John McHutchinson on that one. Who's got the best lap time? Eric Harmon still, and I don't know if that's going to make a difference, especially with the fact how the tyres are getting older and older.
Yeah, exactly. The conditions I don't think will ever be quite as perfect as they were for Harmon's lap. Not saying he doesn't deserve to have the fastest lap, but I'm just saying it's very difficult for anyone to beat it now, given the conditions on the of the tyres and the fuel loads as well that they have for the moment. They'll have 3 laps of fuel probably on board at the end of this one, which is pretty low, but the tyres will be pulling away from them. There'll be 7 laps old at this stage. Just under 15 minutes to go then, and we will indeed have 3 laps to go. In that case, it will be a 10-lap race here to end the season as McHutchinson now weaves around. He's going to be closed in on by Barry this time round, but again, Barry's not going to be close enough to make an overtake because McHutchinson has had a very good final sector indeed.
Yeah, oh, look at all 3 of them. Nobody's really... Maxwell's pulling in little bits here. Barry's in the same boat. John's just left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And try to stop him coming near him, getting under the Bilston, and he has managed that though, McHutchinson, but his gap is coming down at a rapid rate of knots. What about's going to happen with Bird and Crab? No move coming from these guys going into Tiergarten here unless there's a major mistake, but Bird and Crab are in the same boat. Bird's right behind Crab at the moment and looks like he's going to get him.
This is a much better run. He was a lot closer going on to the straight, gets a nice slipstream. If anything, pulls out a little bit too early. And Crab now gets the run down the other side of the hill here. Side by side into the Tiergarten. They're both going to be committed here for 5th place. Bird up the inside. Oh, it's close.
Oh.
And he gets it. Bird gets it with the inside, but it wasn't without contact. It wasn't without a very close moment indeed for Jamie Bird, who moves up to the top 5.
Yeah, now we're going to keep an eye on that on lap 8, but these top 3 are not relinquishing this situation. Barry has had a bad run through sector 1 because Maxwell's compressed right up behind it. Miggy's already got the apple. I'm loving this one already. And Maxwell's now in there with Barry. This is going to be the run down into Arenberg, and this could be a Maxwell move if he can, depending on what McHutchinson does here. If John weaves like he was last time, it's going to be difficult. I think this could be a make or break.
Down in towards Swedenkreuz. Single file again between them, although Barry's looking. McHutchinson defending, but not enough. Oh, he looks up the inside, does Barry, but he doesn't go for it into Arenberg this time round. Maxwell will get a good run on the exit here as well. Look at how close they are. Quarter of a second covering the top 3. McHutchinson, Barry and Maxwell. Oh, down in towards the bottom of the hill here. And the compression. Then in towards Adnar Forest. It's another look from Barry, but it's no move. He misses the apex slightly as well. And so he stays in 2nd place. McHutchinson hangs on again here.
Oh, I don't know for how long. I don't even know. I don't even want to say that these 3 are going to get to the end here. This is scaring the living daylights out of me at this moment in time. Bird and Crab. Crab's cleared Bird again. So when was that? That's coming down into Arenberg. Crab made it through this time. How did Bird not hold that inside line? Crab was just later and let the car run and got a run through. Oh, Crab's had a crash.
Oh dear. Adnar Forst it is. Up over the curb on the inside. Too fast.
Yep.
And slides, spins. Does he keep it at the wall? Yes. Well kept at the wall, but spins around and drops to 6th.
Yeah, now that battle's done as well. It's all here. It is all back on the front 3 again. Maxwell, Barry, McHutchinson. Who's going to be able to take this? That's a problem for John. Something politely needs to happen to Barry now for him to get enough points, because he needs Barry back, probably down to 6th place where Paul Crabb is. So unless there's a disaster for James Barry here, this still could be his championship come the end of it.
Yeah, even if he finishes last in the group and McCutcheon finishes first in the group, Barry will still be on the podium and as a result still be okay to win the title. The gap would come down well below 10 points at the end of it all, and it would look very close indeed, which I guess of course it has been this season. Just under 12 minutes to go now in the season, and Maxwell's gaining on the way towards the book curve here. Is he having a look here? He's certainly been noticed by Barry, who takes a slightly defensive shape. Gets in the slipstream of McCutcheon, then in towards the next corner, and then the Star Strikers. Surely there's going to be no move this time round, and they stay behind one another again. Now, from here to the end of the lap, John McCutcheon last lap had a very good lap indeed, and Maxwell's gone. Oh, he was in 3rd place, just watching and waiting for the moment to strike, but he's lost it on the rear. He's lost a few seconds, and it's now down to just 2.
Oh, they're dropping off one by one. Miggy, you were right. Being in 3rd gives you a chance of the win. Tyres, probably. It could be. Something, as I said now, it's all on Barry. It is literally, for this championship, all on James Barry. Nobody else. There's nothing John can do about it now. It is all on Barry to make sure he gets his car to the end.
Yeah. He's just got to keep it on the road to win the title, but he's got to do a lot more than that to try and win the race. I think the speed he's losing through this final sector is a bit of a concern long term, because even if it's the last lap of the race and he can throw everything at this, excuse me, and he can throw all he's got into the final few corners against John McCutcheon, I don't see how he can overcome how much slower he is in this final sector. It's not just down to Barry himself, by the way. It's John McCutcheon, I think, being very quick through the final sector, because he was pulling away from Maxwell as well. But Barry is 9/10 behind. He always grabs the slipstream for the straight and gets closer again, but how is he going to be able to make a move from this far back?
I don't think he can. Yes, Miggy, we are blaming YouTube chat for that one. Everybody quick to jump on the commentators' curse here. I think we should have a chat curse there. And Gonzaga has made a mistake. Gonzaga has made a mistake. The problem for Gonzaga is I don't think Bousson was too far behind in the meantime. So he's gone round George. Here comes Mike, and I've got a funny feeling Mike's going to go around the corner and he might find a Mr. Gonzaga. Or did he make his own? Oh no, Gonzaga just gets out the way. So where did Mike make his issue and have to jump back to the pit lane? It wasn't too long after Gonzaga. Oh, I don't really know where he... it's there.
Oh, goodness me. Oh, it wasn't long after.
No.
It was just after Horak, the high point of the circuit. He's blown his engine there. That's a big crash into the wall. As Barry's closing in here, he is too far back at the moment. It is still 2 laps to go, though. With over 8 minutes left, we've got more than enough time for this next one and one more after that. And so these two will continue away. Yeah, that was a classic mistake over the curbs, I suppose, for Bousson. Pushing too hard, trying to gain that 8th place.
Yeah, he did. Gonzaga managed to get that going again. So he was clear, well, kind of out the way a little bit in time there. But Mike was, there's nothing he can do about that. That's a straight back to pit lane, unfortunately, for Mike on that one. So, straight back to pit lane. And, well, he's just got to wait now until the tow's finished. As we know, it's quite long out here on Nords itself. Despite you can be right next to the pit lane, Mr. O'Leary, it still takes you 6 minutes.
Slightly bizarre, that, really. It should be scaled to how far away from the pits you are, in my opinion. But anyway. That's,
I agree. I do agree with you, and I think that's one of the faults, I suppose, that we've got within this simulator is obviously the fact that you could be right next to the pits and it can still take you 6 minutes to get back, or give or take. It's ludicrous. And if you're on the back end up by Bergberg and that, it's like 9 minutes, which that I understand because you're the other side of the race circuit, but not 6 minutes being next to pit lane.
Well, if we're being ultra realistic, 6 minutes is actually quite quick for even if you're next to the pit lane. It takes a little bit of time to get yourself Toad and whatever in real life. But anyway, in towards Adnan Force. These two go again. Barry is, I don't think he's going to go for it, surely not on the way up the hill here. Oh, he's looking! Oh, wow, he was on the grass there and decides to lift off, and thank goodness he did, because that would have been a very big crash otherwise.
The question is would it have been? Oh, Barry, he's scaring me at the moment. At the 2, he's the one looking a little bit more raggedy edge. Do you know what I mean? He's the one that's looking like he's really on the edge of what this car is able to deliver. And I think if he's pushing and pushing and pushing too hard, this can only be a mistake here. I've had 8-minute 30 tow plus repairs. It kills a race. Then you just drive to have fun. Yeah, I agree, Miggy. But these guys have obviously had that hour. So if you crashed at the beginning, you're all right. But obviously this close to the end, it's going to be a struggle. And as you can see, Busan unfortunately chose to jump out rather than wait there.
Yeah, so Williams, Ralston and Busan all out of the race now. 3 retirements from the day so far. Barry can't afford to become one of them, otherwise he will lose the title as things stand to McCutcheon. But as they run, he's got it, and he's got a big gap back to the first driver who could take it off him. Eric Harmon is 9 seconds behind him. Jamie Bird is 28 seconds behind him. And Paul Crabb is over half a minute behind him. That's the gap that Barry has got. He needs to finish ahead of Paul Crabb as things stand in 6th place to win the title. He's got more than half a minute as it stands.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time. As I said, it is just about getting that SR8 to the end. That's it for James Barry. There's no other reason whatsoever. So we'll keep... Oh, no. Oh, no, he's going for it.
He's on the outside of the hook curve. Is McCutcheon going to back off, or is he going to keep it in there? Because he is alongside and he's on the inside. And Barry forced to back out this time. That was always going to happen, I'm afraid, for James Barry. He's given it a go, and fair play to him for that, but it was a long way around the outside.
Yeah, it was, and it was dangerous. It was dangerous. Definitely on that. You don't want to be on the outside of that corner because that car will wash out on the inside and come back at you here as well. Miggy Maxwell could come back if these two keep fighting. Agreed. He's only got this lap, though. We might have... Yeah. Are we going to get one more, do we think?
Yeah, we're going to get one more, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get one more. So we might have 2 laps if these two keep having a good old barn here. But at the moment, he's driving on his own. So every time these guys hit the straight, they're drafting each other going quicker than what he's going. So it's going to be a tough one. Amzi there as well. I've never driven on Nords. Dude, what are you doing? Like, straight up, get out. Get out. It doesn't matter what car you're in. Take the W13 for a spin around Nords and see how much fun you have. Yeah,
well, that's not the best introduction.
No, but it's great fun. Have you tried it?
No.
Oh, bro. Don't get me wrong, I lasted till I got down to about Arenberg before I stacked it, but up until then I was having a right blast.
I was going to say, it feels a bit fast.
It is, but it is a good fun. Definitely good fun.
There you go. Just over a lap to go then between these two. Now, McCutcheon hasn't quite put the gap into Barry that he normally does here, so maybe this will be a chance for James Barry for the first time in quite a few laps to actually take the lead here on the penultimate lap towards the line.
Yeah, it's not this bit that Maxwell opens up. McCutcheon opens up. It's normally now until the end of the dot and go that he seems to be able to open up the gap a little bit there as well. He loves me. Oh, I love it as well. Struggling with MX-5s on Brands Hatch. So, yeah, maybe don't take the W13 round Nords, mate. You could be in deep trouble on that one. But Barry has kept it within 3. Oh, he could get it here. He could get it here.
So then, Barry is looking very, very close indeed to making an overtake now. He's had a much better final sector than what he's had in the past. And now he's got a great chance of taking the lead with just 1 lap to go, giving McCutcheon just the lap to respond here. He's less than 4 tenths behind. That should allow him a move on the way up the hill here. Under 2 tenths of a second. Closes in. Crouches into the slipstream. Surely he's going to pull to the right-hand side. And he does. McCutcheon knew that was going to happen because he wasn't breaking the slipstream as he has been doing in previous laps. And Barry cruises straight past. Will McCutcheon stay alongside? Oh, no, not quite. He lifts off and he now knows that he needs to find a way through on lap number 10, the very final lap, likely at this point in the circuit, to make his way through. He looks up the inside. Oh, he doesn't quite go for it. Oh, he's in the pit lane. John McCutcheon has made a miscalculation. I think he was accounting for 9 laps, not 10. And John McCutcheon's in the pit lane.
Disastrous. Gone. He's puffed it away.
And he's down to 4th. He's off the podium as well. Dear, oh dear.
Oh. No. Well, but we've still got battles with Matthews and Jacqueline.
Yeah, that means we'll have to focus our attention a bit further down the field. Oh, my goodness. Jacqueline there over the curbs and very nearly in the wall as he tries to fade away past Matthew. Of course, he's been catching Matthew quite a lot recently, and he's looking for this final spot inside the top 10. These guys are still completing the last sector of their penultimate lap, of course.
Yeah, I'm in shock. I am in shock that it's... Oh, Matthews popped out of Klein's, lost the position and nearly shot himself into the wall. I am shocked that John has made that mistake. I would have taken that lap all day long. It was pure precaution. Pure precaution.
But the thing is, if you do that and nobody else does, then you lose so much time compared to everybody else, because the lap around here is a lot of fuel.
I would have done it anyway. I'm sorry. I would have literally made sure I had that lap in the bank just in case. And he knew that when he went in that there was going to be a lap. He must have known that we were going to be on 10.
Maybe it explains why he came out in the lead by a second and a half, because he had a shorter pit stop maybe, as it's side by side for 10th hit between Jacqueline and Matthew.
Ooh.
Careful. Oh, careful. Into the Tiergarten. Bit of a squeeze. Jacqueline now round the outside. Now he can go. Now the space opens up and he gets it. Matthew was a bit tentative on the inside line there, and Jacqueline does take the position. We've about an hour gone now, but these guys have got still one more to do.
Yeah, Cole's been doing really well as the season's gone on. He never driven the SR8 before. Coming at the beginning of the season, and it was 2 weeks ago, I think he said in an interview, he finally feels able that he's almost got to grips with the car. That's how long it's taken him. Mind you, we've done a lot of racing between round 8, I think it was, and the rounds obviously all been leading up to round 8. So to see him doing what he's doing and actually overtaking somebody is great to see for Carl, because 9 out of 10 times this season we've seen Carl defend harder than a Jose Mourinho football team, I can tell you that much, and he's now just managing to open it up and go for it there as well. Very big strategy mistake, Miggy, you are right. Even 8 extra litres would be fine. I agree. I do agree with you. Don't forget, guys, we have got the new season coming up of the Radicals, and if you want to get yourself involved as well, we are looking to start on December 2nd, I believe. I will just double check that date, but if anybody wants to get themselves involved, they can come along and have some fun. There's the Discord link there. We do everything through GridFinder, who's sponsored this season, so you will need obviously to go into a GridFinder account if you want to come in and have some fun with the boys driving the SR8s. We've also got some great trucks going on at the moment. The Lotus Oil Pro trucks round street circuits and race circuits. We drove them at Watkins Glen last week. I've got to admit, it was the most fun I've had in the car for absolutely ages.
Oh, Jacqueline going for a spin at Adnar Frost.
Poor old Carl. Just as I picked him up.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Just as I said, yeah, just as I said how well he was doing. Unfortunately for the car on that one. Maxwell has got Harman climbing in on him, so he's got to be a little bit careful for Maxwell, but I don't think Harman's going to be able to get there before the end of the race, but this one is going to be pretty much done, I think.
Well, yeah, there is this last battle to keep an eye on between Maxwell and Harman. Looks like they are getting closer here, and Maxwell is just slightly concerned about spluttering his way over the line. Then he's going to be caught by Harman now with that sort of gap. Just over a second between second and third through the very twisty final sector where races and so on have been made or broken. McCutcheon was really strong through here, of course, in his battle with Barry, but the one lap where he wasn't, he was overtaken by James Barry on the way towards the Tiergarten. In the end, it didn't matter, of course. McCutcheon will finish down in 4th place, and Barry looks like he's going to go on to win this championship as well. He's led for some time now in the championship, it's got to be said, and he's going to be the champion by a deserving margin as well. I think the gap could be around or just over 20 points, so it's a pretty big win for Barry in the end.
Barry on 5.24, McCutcheon on 4.94, so 30 points.
Okay. So, oh yeah, of course it would be. Yeah, they've switched around. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, 30 points-ish for Barry over the rest of the field. And there he is in Gavankop for the final time. So he's cruising to a race win. Not quite going to get our side-by-side to the line. No. It looked like we might get for some time, actually, but no longer. He stays in the lead on his own now. Yep. Does James Barry, and he's cruising his way to a win.
It does. We do UK only, but we've got a NASCAR full season with 50% length of real life NASCAR starting in February, I believe it is, when the NASCAR season starts as well. So the trucks are Friday nights at 7 p.m. GMT, and this is obviously, as it is at this moment in time, around about 8:30 GMT.
Yeah.
Take him over the line, Mr. O'Leary.
Here he is indeed over the line. It's James Barry who wins at the Nordschleife. The hour-long race goes to him, and indeed the season goes to him as well. After a few moments of nerves, I'm sure, during tonight's race, he has won the title. Luke Maxwell and Eric Harmon finish on the podium with him, and John McCutcheon spins his way over the line as well to finish in 4th. He'll be very disappointed indeed. He ran out of fuel there towards the end.
Gutted. It did look very good though, mind you. Coming over the line, bringing the car sideways. Who we got up next? Mr. Jamie Bird coming over the line. Great job from him, finishing in 5th place. The recovering Paul Crabb is in 6th.
Yeah, this is just outside the top 5 for Crabb. Of course, after that spin at the top of the hill for Adnan Forst, he was battling with Bird earlier on. Menno de Graaf will finish in 7th place ahead of George Gonzaga. Then there'll be a bit of a gap back to Stefan Mellifant, a bit of a gap back to the rest of them, to be honest. Some very big gaps indeed further down the field. Are we going to be announcing the tracks tonight here, by the way, James, or are we waiting for later on for next season?
I can give you the track list.
Okay.
This is in current conversation. I will mention the tracks to you. Now, me and obviously John have been working on here. So this is the tracks for next season. Okayama, Mid-Ohio, Mosport, Suzuka, Monza Endurance 1. Now, we're not sure whether or not we're keeping that one. Zolder Alternative, Zandvoort, Watkins Glen, Interlagos, Le Mans, but it will be the Endurance 2 circuit. That should be basically what we're going to have. Possibly the only swap may be Monza, that might go to Kota. But so we're just working out the kinks on that one, and we're looking at December, I believe it is as well, December 2nd. I think we're looking at. We will take a break over Christmas. We do not work over Christmas. All the boys at JPB, we all get a 2-week break. So none of us do anything over the Christmas period, basically, considering we're so busy throughout the year. So that will be the tracks as well coming up.
Yeah, indeed. Not for JPB, I don't. I've just found out recently I'm working Boxing Day and New Year's Day this year. So.
You absolute how did you manage that?
Well, I don't decide, obviously, but...
well, you do. Somebody comes to you and says, look, mate, it's Boxing Day. Do you want to work? You go, no.
Well, I didn't really get asked, but so I am doing, but I don't mind. I really dislike Christmas because there is no work. I know you really like it.
That's because I've got kids.
I know, yeah.
Yes, and I get to play with all their really fun toys.
James Barry wins the race by 7 seconds ahead of Luke Maxwell and Eric Harmon, who have a very close margin at the end there. John McCutcheon finishes fourth, ahead of Jamie Bird, who sees off Paul Cram at the end. Menno de Graaf just finishing just under a minute off the win, with George Gonzaga in 8th place. Stefan Melliff and Graham Matthew round out the top 10. Carl Jackalette couldn't quite get that top 10 in the end. Ewan Bramer very nearly caught everybody at the end there, finishing 12th. Ahead of Mike Booston, David Ralston and Rob Williams, who round out the field. Let's have a chat to Luke Maxwell, who is waiting for us already. Welcome in, Luke. Good to have you with us. And congratulations on finishing on the podium. But are you a little bit disappointed to have had that half spin and dropped out of the leading fight there with a few laps to go?
Yeah, I was just hoping to just kind of stick with them. Obviously, they clearly had more pace than me, but I thought as long as I got draft and I can, stick with them, then at least I might be in with a shout at doing something at the end. But just it's a long old race in that car on that combo. So it was tough concentration wise, and even after I'd made that first spin, I think my tyres had gone a little bit as well, and then I kept making more mistakes and thinking, I'm going to get there. Eric's going to be here in no time. So I just struggled those last couple of laps, to be honest, but really pleased with that. And unlucky for John going in for the extra fuel, to be honest. That was bad luck. Obviously didn't quite put enough in, but I think it's because he was leading a lot.
Did he not listen to you, Luke, with your skills?
Well, no, he told me 32 should be enough, and because I was in the tow all the way through, it was fine for me. I think it's just because he's too bloody quick, leading a lot. So he needed more, and he didn't put 32 in.
No, I was going to say that might be why. There we go. Are you pleased to be driving back at the Nordschleife here tonight? Yeah, no,
you got
the series. It's been absent for quite a while now.
It takes so much concentration, and I know it's not always a great broadcast at Nords, but driving there, especially if you can, if you're hanging with those guys. And I was trying to put James under pressure to see if he could make a mistake, but he's so solid. He was kind of like positioning his car well. I wasn't going to go for any moves until we got right near the end. But I thought if I can move my car around and just put it in places that'll catch his eye, and but he's too wise for that one.
Well, there we go. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I'll give a shout to my dad. Unfortunately, we lost him just over a week ago. So that's for you, Dad.
All right. Well, hope you're doing all right, and congratulations on finishing on the top 3 here tonight. Thanks for coming to chat to us, Luke. I'm sure we'll see you again very soon.
Yeah, cheers, guys. All the best next week. When the season starts again, I guess.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Thanks very much, Luke. And congratulations on finishing on second place here tonight. Just ahead, of course, James Barry there in the lead, and he can join us now as well. Welcome in, James. Good to have you with us. As you just said in the chat, a little bit disappointed, certainly from our point of view, that you didn't get that battle with John at the very end, and you may well be as well. But how are you feeling after winning that race?
Yeah, good. Obviously, really happy. Really happy that I was able to drive as well as I did at this track, because I've struggled here in the past. We had the Radical European Championship final race a few weeks ago at this track, and I almost bottled the championship at the same track just because of how tough it is. But actually, this car is amazing to drive at this track. Just so fluid, so super fun to drive, and obviously it was a really good race, really challenging race for most of it.
Were you pleased to be leading going on to the final lap? Let's just imagine that John didn't have to come in and pit for some more fuel at the very end, and imagine that you were going to go on to the final lap nose to tail as you did. Where would have been the best place to be? Was it defending from the front as you were? Was it a case of trying to drop behind him again at some point before the back straight to come back past him again later on? And what was the correct call, do you think, going on to that last lap?
I think ideally you'd be following about half a second behind coming onto the back straight, but I wasn't really interested in playing any games at that point because I knew that I just needed to be kind of top 3 to win the championship. So I was just gonna see what happened, not think about it too much, and just have a good race to the end. But sadly that didn't happen.
Yeah. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out John and James for setting up the championship. It's been a lot of fun, and shout out obviously all the commentators, everyone who joined, and George, my teammate. Yeah, thanks to everyone involved. It was very fun, really good season.
Thanks very much. Good to have you back with us again this season. James, congratulations on the championship win, of course, on the race win tonight as well, and thanks for coming to chat to us.
Cheers, see you guys, bye.
Thanks very much, James Barry, the winner tonight, and indeed of the series as a whole. That's the season done then. The Radical SR8 Championship here for the 19 races complete with a 1 hour finale here at the Nordschleife, James. It was a good finish, if only cut short slightly by John McCutcheon in to come in and and put a bit more fuel in.
Yeah. I can't repeat the word that he used, but let's just say he wasn't happy. He made an absolute donut move. Yeah, I got to be honest. I am surprised. I am surprised that he that happened for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised as well, but very unlike him. But there you go. These things happen from time to time. Even John McCutcheon makes mistakes from time to time, as we have now found out. So there we go. That is the final round of the JPB Radical SR8 Championship. Big thanks to everyone who's joined us throughout the season, and indeed tonight as well. It's been a pleasure to be here for a few of them. I've been Neil Leary alongside James Parfitt. Until we see you next season, starting in a few weeks' time, of course, in December in the Radical SR8 Championship. It's goodbye for now.